after she totaled her car.
On Wall Street, before the opening bell, stock futures are little changed as investors are bracing for the May jobs report. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us on this
You're
Friday
entirely
morning.
welcome.
It is June 7th. It is graduation day for Woonsocket High. And
He's been saying that all morning,
Well,
folks.
it's
He's
how
been
I
saying it all morning.
That's how I remind myself.
Hasn't been a single hour go by. He hasn't said it a
That's
couple
right.
of dozen times.
I won't say it next hour, okay?
All righty.
I'm Joe Callahan. That was Dave Richards over there. Good
It
morning,
was. Hey, hi there. Hi there. Hold on.
Dave. And that's Melissa
Hey
Murray.
there. Hi there.
Good
ho
morning.
How are you, Melissa?
I'm doing well.
Another late night at the State House?
there.
Kinda.
No, it wasn't all that late last night.
I mean, not terrible,
Not
but
terrible, but later than...
Well, the last
Your
bill I
average bear,
got, the last press release I got on a bill that was passed was around 8:30.
oh yeah, but then we had committee after that.
See, they didn't say anything about that in the press
of course
release.
they don't.
This section of Coffee
She's
Ann.
got the red glasses on today. It's spooking me out. The glasses keep changing color.
This portion of Coffee Ann is sponsored by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. What do you see in your inbox,
The
Dave?
executive golf outing is coming, Joe. And these are things that you really have to plan ahead for. So run to your calendar, pick up your phone, whatever you use to schedule your time. September 17th, Kirkbrae Country Club will be the location. 11:30 will be the time. So you can go in, yell at the staff, come back out, and head to Kirkbrae in time for the first tee,
You said
as it were.
September 17th?
Tuesday, September 17th.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
At Kirkbrae Country Club. So that's what's coming up there. And it's kind of cool. So actually, the registration, lunch, driving, they do the lunch before they go out because it's an afternoon tea time. And then it's a scramble start at 12:30. I don't know if you like scramble or if you like to have catch up with your scramble or whatever. Then Distill and Chill is coming up. Oops, sorry, it was the last Wednesday. I'm looking at the wrong one. Eggs and Issues Breakfast coming up next week. It's Thursday, the 13th, 8:30 to 9:30. Coffee Ann listeners have dispensation to attend chamber events. Just listen to the replay as a makeup. And the Kirkbrae Country Club is also the place for that. And who is going to be talking? Commerce Secretary Liz Tanner will be the guest at the Eggs and Issues Breakfast. Cocktails and Commerce are going on June 25th, a Tuesday, on the terrace at Capitol Grill. Very fashionable. And then coming up in August, of course, is Welcome Wednesday on the 7th, and Business is Brewing at the Providence Brewing Company, August 14th. All wonderful things that you can go to and enjoy the company of fellow members of the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, an organization you may choose to call at 9 o'clock this morning, 334-1000. Joe?
All right there, Dave. Thanks. And, congrats to the Boston Celtics. They won last night. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Bob Lauder's ecstatic.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was jumping up and down, Joe.
And so that's good news for them. So best of luck to those guys as they want to win 3 more for the NBA championship. So I don't know if you heard the more important news, Melissa, because you were at the State House.
That it's National Donut Day.
Oh, that is important. But we have a new anteater at the Roger Williams Zoo.
Oh, a new anteater.
They
What's their name?
what is
Usually
it?
name
in there.
them something
It's
funny.
in the story, Joe.
Gustavo.
Yeah, Gustavo. Yeah.
Gustavo.
Well,
that was
because
unexpected. I was
he's
like
from South
Angela
America.
or
He's from
like
South America.
Andrew
Yeah.
the anteater. I don't know.
So
okay, all right.
they're called pups, and he was born a couple of months ago. But mom was hiding it, and
Yeah,
and
no
like
problem,
that.
yeah.
So they finally announced, okay, it's 2 months old. They can now be out with mom walking around. So they finally announced, yep, we got a new anteater. Big news.
Big news.
Roger Williams Zoo. They're native to South America and the Caribbean, in case you were wondering.
Okay.
And if you've never seen an anteater in person, they're much larger than you think. They're actually very good sized animals.
Really?
I saw one at
Bigger than a bread box?
Yes, I was at Southwick Zoo one time and wow, they're much bigger than I thought they were.
Bigger
They're
than an
really-
armadillo.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're long.
Okay.
If you go from the snout's really long, you go all the way to the tail. I go, boy, that's going to be about 8 feet.
Really?
Feet?
Yeah, this is a good sized animal.
Ooh.
So, I mean, they're not mean. They don't rush at you. They're always digging. They're always looking for
You're
termites
not an
and
ant,
Right.
ants
Joe.
and stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. So I'm not food. So
Couldn't fit you in their little
Nope, not at all.
snouts.
But good for them, and I'm glad things are going well over there. So you passed the law enforcement's Bill of Rights.
Yes.
So does it now go back to the House?
Nope. It's passed. Like they passed it.
They
They
passed
sent
it.
it
Well, it goes to
over
the
to
governor.
us.
Now
Yeah, it goes to the governor.
It's not
That's
quite
correct.
law yet, but
No,
it's
I was
pretty
just seeing
close.
where it goes next. So
Yep.
you liked it? Did you vote in favor of it?
I did
Melissa?
vote in favor of it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I did. No bill is perfect.
Yeah.
But it's
It's
moving
freshened
the-
up
it's- yeah.
from the 60s and
it's
70s.
It's moved into
And there part
because
of
it
it.
talks
moving the
about
needle.
body cam footage, things that you wouldn't have even thought
Correct.
of when
Yeah.
the
Correct.
original one was put in. So it was time to freshen it up. Although I always worry about overreach and unintended consequences whenever these bills come along. But I couldn't argue against the fact that a freshen up was needed. I just worried about it because there's such a movement, an anti-law enforcement movement out there that I didn't
That's
know
kind
if
of died away. Dude.
I didn't know if
Yeah,
the climate
kinda
was
has.
right for this.
Yeah, it is right now, and I like to see that the media can go through public records to request to see what the
Right,
camera
and that
footage is.
wasn't
That's right.
available when the first
Right.
Leo board came in.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing.
right.
right.
Okay. So that passed. That'll go to the governor. Is the governor supporting it?
I
That you've
assume
heard?
so.
Okay. The other legislation that was passed yesterday doesn't say if it was in the House or the Senate. But
If,
for
if
Rhode
it's going to
Island-
the governor, it's both of them.
well,
Well,
right.
one of the things they
This
passed
doesn't say.
that the House
Oh, it is
passed
going.
months ago.
Yeah. Rhode Island wineries.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can drink at the winery.
That's right.
Yes. Right.
That's actually a good idea.
Well, right.
That
You should
taste-
be able to sample.
what you
yeah,
wanna-
they
what you
were
gotta purchase.
You're thinking like, oh, why wouldn't this be a law,
Well,
right?
yeah.
But it's because of that 3-tier system that's super restrictive towards the little guys.
Oh dear me!
But yes, you like to try your wine, sample your wine before you buy the bottle. Then you can do that now. So I think it's a good thing.
I wasn't in favor of this, by the way.
Why not?
Well, surveys have shown that more than
Survey
9
says-
out of 10 of people who visit wineries drove there.
Okay. Well, they're not having a whole bottle.
Now you're going to have tips trained people serving the samples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just getting things more complicated, friends.
Well, if the wineries want to sell more wine, then they'll have their tips trained people serving it.
I guess so.
Yep.
All right.
And life gets more and more complicated.
Well,
Sell more wine.
They'll figure it out.
Very few people
I would like
walk
to sample
into a
wine.
winery.
Yeah. I would like to
that
sample the
didn't drive
wine
there. Yeah.
before I buy a bottle, right? I want to make sure I at least like it.
Yeah.
Because I have,
Well, it could be just a souvenir.
No.
I mean, you don't eat the keychain you buy as a souvenir, right? So, I mean,
Yes,
People-
but if they say, here's this wine, we've mixed this grape and this grape and this thing. What do you think? Take a sip. I think it's lousy. You don't want to buy a whole bottle to find out you hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
well, and that's
That's
crazy
happened to
too
me.
because it seemed to me that if they didn't charge for the sample, you should have been able to do it. Unfortunately, it got more complicated because things don't get simpler.
Are they charging for the samples? Is that part of the bill? It doesn't say.
I don't
No,
believe
it
so.
didn't matter because it was a commercial enterprise, and
Yeah.
So they do sell the wine there,
Mm-hmm.
and so if you're doing free samples, it ain't exactly the same as the grocery store, supermarket showing you, giving you a sample Tostitos in the frozen food department.
A tiny little chip of like a speck of whatever.
So it ain't
But you-
exactly
I love
like that
those at the
because
supermarket.
because first of all, you're talking about alcoholic beverage, which is controlled by other laws, and Tostitos aren't. So you get the idea.
But you can get, like, if you go into any brewery and they have some, new brews, and can I get a sample of that? They'll always
Yeah.
give you a sample, right?
Yeah.
A little sip, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go with that, or no, I don't think that's really my, it's the same thing, and they don't charge for that. They just give you like one little sip, and You can figure out if you like it or not before you buy
But they couldn't do it
order
at
a
the
whole one.
winery.
All right.
Right, correct.
So we got a note called in 7661240.
Oh, boy.
We're gonna take Dave to task on this one. So Dave, what's the difference then between going to a winery to sip wine or driving to a bar? We're driving to a restaurant and ordering a glass of wine. Aren't they all the same?
Yep.
Okay, so let wineries do what the bars and the restaurants do
Right.
is what it comes down to.
Right.
And you can't get a free sample at the bar or the restaurant.
Well, you can certain bars.
Some
If
you
they're-
can
if
at
it's
the
a
tap. Yes,
If
yeah.
it's a brewery bar,
They give you
can.
free samples?
Oh,
Oh,
sure they
okay.
can if
Even
they wish.
if it's not, yeah. If they have beers on tap, sometimes they will indulge you, and you say, can I
Here's a
can
little
I
glass, here's a
try?
shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's a little
it's
glass.
just right.
Yeah. So no, caller's totally right.
Yeah.
There are contradictions in our society, and I try not to yuck anybody else's yum, but at the same time, I have a hard time driving someplace, drinking and driving home. So that's a red flag for Dave. It isn't for other people, and as long as
Alright.
it's moderation and medical professionals have prescribed what that moderation is, I just go along with what's going on because I can't change all that.
All right. The governor's approval rating is at 37%. That's in Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. Mora's got
But-
40% up in Massachusetts.
Right. They like Mora than they like our governor.
Mora, yeah.
And I didn't say it that way in the news story
Yep.
because I said to myself, going too far is going too far. But I still ridiculed this organization with a 50-word name that was born in the pandemic days, but they don't want to go home. So they decided to
Do polls.
to just do polls. And
I
I
get
said,
them all the time on my phone,
Oh.
constantly.
yeah.
Constantly.
So here we are, and originally this group wanted to show how popular the government's handling of pandemic protocols were. And
Now we
there
gotta
was
move
a
on.
need for it, and they got funding for it, but I guess they haven't spent all the money yet, and they don't want to go home, so they're just going to say, well, how popular is the governor? And you're not going to have a sitting governor who ends up having to close down half of an interstate highway almost in
popular.
perpetuity. He's not going to. He's going to take a hit, and do that right before Christmas. He's going to take a hit, or she's going to take a hit, and all the rest of that stuff. Although I'm kind of surprised. I guess people have just gotten used to the fact that Maura and her friends will just travel anywhere at taxpayer expense, ring up big bills, and it's all, oh, yes, well, I told people to come to Massachusetts, so it's tourism. So,
So
you
you have
know,
to pay for it.
yeah, it's like if I went to, I don't know, Tahiti and visited the radio station there, I could
Yeah.
say, oh, it was a business trip.
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
You're
right.
It is. You can write it off.
Sorry, that's a bit unethical for my tastes, but
Legal and
you
ethical are two
could.
different things.
That's right, that's right, exactly. They're two different things. And,
They are.
And Morris seems to game that well.
The organization, Melissa, is called the COVID-19 Consortium for Understanding the Public's Policy Preferences Across States. That is tough to get on a business card.
Oh yeah.
So they figured it out. On the average, governors have a 38% approval rating.
Right, and
Okay.
Moore
On
came in
average.
2 points above, and
Moore
Dan
gets
came
40.
in 1 point below the
Yeah.
average.
So
Right,
we're
and it
right
could
there.
change
We're
on
right
any
at
given
average.
day. And if you
Well,
pulled
sure.
those same people a second time, they
right.
might give
Yeah.
different answers.
Just if you're an elected official, just make a decision and see what happens to your approval rating.
Yeah, it's
Any
sways
decision,
back and forth.
you know,
back
like
and forth.
today is Friday. Let's make a proclamation. You're going to divide the house.
Yeah.
That's all there is. The sky is blue. Someone's going to get ticked off.
Well, not really, Dave.
Well, kind of.
Well, I see clouds though, so it's not all blue. Kind of a slate gray sometimes, you know.
Oh, jeez, Joe.
Anyway, so yeah, that's where things stick with our governor
Yeah.
and the governor.
Although
to the
I
north.
found some things to really disagree with the governor on in this term, I'll tell you. But hey, agreement's agreement, disagreement's a disagreement, and friends is friends. What are you gonna do? I keep them separate.
So speaking of traveling, Jack Reed is over there in France with the president, with D-Day. Who's paying
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah, and by the way, he got a free ride on Air Force One, didn't he?
Well, I'm sure he did.
There you go. The congressional delegation hitched a ride.
Yeah.
And that saved the taxpayers money.
Well, I guess because we're not taking a bunch of different airplanes. So,
Right. It's just one.
Is he making any speeches over there, or is he just along for the ride?
Well, he remarked to the press to be quoted, and
Okay.
he says it's a privilege
yes, to honor those
to
who
be able to
served,
honor those, right?
give the world a chance for peaceful and prosperity.
And keep in mind, he's an Army veteran. He attained great rank in the Army, although his exact rank escapes me as I talk. He also was on the Armed Services Committee, so
Yeah.
he's
well, that
got
makes sense that it goes then.
he's got a feeling for the armed forces and the a more of an emotional connection with the soldiers that landed on the beaches at Normandy than everyone else might.
Okay.
He's a little closer to it.
It's break time here in the Coffee and program, and this segment of Coffee and sponsored by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Dave, what would you like to say about the chamber this time?
334-1000. Call it after 9 o'clock. Find out how the chamber can work for you.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options
my
that
little
fit your
private joke
life
for the TV
is something
folks.
they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores. ON Radio. It is Coffee and on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards. So, local guy makes good. Actually, we got two. Because the head coach of the Celtics is from Johnston.
Right.
Joe Mazzulla, so that's good. Now, a few years ago, Dan Hurley was the head basketball coach for the men's basketball team at URI.
Right.
Did so well, he went to UConn.
Right.
Won 2 national championships.
Right.
Now he's probably going to be the next LA Lakers head coach
You think so?
and make a ton of money. Yes. They are looking
Hey,
to
make
offer
it
him
while
up.
you can, boys
Yeah.
and girls. What do you think they make banks for?
They are meeting, they are going to meet.
Put it away.
The Lakers and Dan Hurley are meeting today to talk money and other things like that. So,
Yeah.
hey, well, good for him. Would
Hey,
have been
listen.
nice. He could have gone for a three-peat for the national championship, but some people like to keep moving up. Some people just like to stay at the college level, but others want to keep moving up. So, okay, good for him. Nice to
Yeah,
see him moving
and
on.
Some people are happy being the big fish in the small pond, and other
Yeah.
people want to be the big fish in the big pond, or at least in the big pond.
It is, and it's so tough at the college level,
Yeah.
in any sport, because it's 365.
There's so many things
Because-
that aren't your fault that go wrong.
No, not that.
Funding in the
Not-
school,
Well,
recruitment
yeah,
rules,
it's the recruitment.
grades in the
It's
students.
going out
know.
and trying to convince good players to come play for you.
Right.
That's constant. And yeah, you have your other coaches helping you, but I mean, you never get a day off, kind of thing. If you go pro, you don't have to worry about that. Someone else picks the players for you. So we'll see how that goes, and best of luck to Dan Hurley as he goes out there to the La La Land. Let's see what else is going on.
Oh, the Senate passed a bunch of medical debt bills last night, which is a really
What does that mean?
So we passed one bill was mine, which is that the hospitals and doctors and medical places can no longer report your medical debt on your credit score.
Oh, so it won't hurt your credit.
It won't hurt your credit, right? So you still owe the money,
Right.
you still have to pay, but they're not allowed to put it on your against
Okay.
your right. So like say someone gets catastrophically ill, like they get cancer or they get in a huge accident, and their insurance, says, oh yeah, we're not going to cover that. Then they can't pay it all at once, or maybe they're paying a little bit at a time. They can't ding your credit score, because you may need to like rent an apartment later,
Yeah.
or buy a home, or even
car.
or a
Or
car,
if
or
you've got a home, there are some mortgages out there that if your credit rating goes down below a certain level, they increase your interest rate.
Yeah.
right. So yeah, or they'll even increase your car insurance based
Oh,
on
yeah.
your credit score.
And this has absolutely nothing to do with your credit worthiness, but
Yeah.
they found a way
correct,
to they
right.
found a way to sneak some money out of you.
Of course, of course. So someone shouldn't have to go through all of that just because they get cancer or they have,
Yeah.
they get sick. Another bill, which is by Senator Basilian, states that they cannot attach your property for medical debt, so they can't put a lien on your home.
Well, that's
Right.
good.
So yeah, these are things that like we're trying to do to protect. So I don't know. They passed the Senate. Don't know where
Because
they're gonna go in the House, but we're hopeful.
now I'm not totally off board on this. I have some attitudes about all of this stuff because somebody pays somewhere, but you're just singling out one group of people not to pay the consequences for what's going on here. But you know what I've come to realize?
Well, the creditors can go after them.
Yeah.
They can sell the debt, and you'll still get the phone calls and the emails, and they will, aggressively pursue you like they like to do.
Yes.
But it just doesn't ding on your credit.
So
credit
somebody
score.
gets sick, and well, unless you are abusing your body in some way, there are any number of really good ways to get sick, and it isn't really your fault.
That's right.
And so you come down with a chronic condition or whatever like that, or it's a subsidiary of an accident. Life happens.
Yep.
We get all that. We're happy that medical science today can assist in recovery from things that you didn't recover from back in our grandparents' time. All this is wonderful, except that now you cannot even today choose not to get the treatment. So, you can't say, well, I can't afford this, so I'm not going to do that. Because now it is not lawful for you to choose not to take treatment you can't afford. So if you're going to pass a law that's going to require people to get indebted beyond their ability to pay, and make it unlawful for them to try to live within their means, then you darn well better protect them with another law. So I'm saying, two wrongs still don't make a right, but it's better than the wrong.
Yeah, well, no one should go,
Yeah, I know.
but also like if you're have that debt, it also affects your mental health and you get stressed out, and then you could possibly incur more medical debt. But,
I'm looking at it from a much more basic situation. You took away someone's right to decide about their medical procedures. You took away their
Well,
right to
someone
decide.
someone can refuse, they can stop treatment for cancer, or they can refuse to go in an ambulance after an accident. They don't have to do that.
No.
Yes.
No.
They always make you sign things,
Yeah,
Dave.
to make you sign things
Do
saying
you agree?
like,
Do you agree that for
right?
this,
Are you sure you don't want to,
this
to go to
care.
the? Yeah, no. You can refuse an ambulance. You can, if you're taking medication and you're battling, you can decide to stop taking chemo. People do it all the time. It's their choice, their bodily autonomy.
No, it's not as simple as that.
No, it's not. It's not as simple as that. It's
No,
very
you
complex.
can't just
but
decide not to take a treatment you can't afford.
Well, you don't.
Because,
No,
there's,
it does.
because there's laws about suicide.
But you don't know what it's going to cost until after the fact.
right.
Right, and
And
there's laws
certainly-
about suicide, you see. They're not going to let you do it. At the very least, you pass out, they're going to treat you, and you still got to pay the bill.
Well, yes, but you're
Well,
unconscious.
so
at that
don't give
point.
me this baloney that you can decide. There's no decisions being
people
made here.
people forego medical treatment all the time because they can't afford it, and then they put off going to the doctor. And they put off going to the doctor, and then Then they get really sick, and then they end up in
right.
the ambulance, and then they end up with a huge
And
bill in
there's
the end,
laws
right?
against suicide, and then there are also moral laws for most of us with deeply held beliefs against suicide.
I wouldn't call it suicide. I would just say
It is if you don't get treatment for a life-threatening situation because you can't afford it. So
I
don't say
disagree.
you've got a decision. You don't got a decision.
I disagree.
I did this one time with a hospital and got a rather large bill, and I wish I could remember what the amount was, but let's say $500. I'm like, well, here's $50, and I got a call from the hospital. I said, didn't you see I sent you $50? And they said yes. I said, I'll send you $50 next month. I said, and then we'll keep doing this until it's paid off. And they said, oh, we don't have that down on the notes. Well, write it down on your notes now.
Right.
So.
If someone's making a good faith effort to
Well,
pay,
that's what I thought. But
Yeah.
oh, you didn't tell us you were going to do this. Well, I just thought of it when I got the bill.
I'm giving you what I can afford.
That's right. So, and everything worked out fine. So,
Yeah.
now, did it hit my credit score? I don't know. I never.
Well,
I never
credit
thought to
scores
check-
are an entirely
check
different
that.
scam.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, they are as immoral as insurance is. So, it's part of living on the planet. What
Yeah.
can I say?
So,
but to pretend that you have a choice about treatment, and what about a partner or a spouse, a living partner or a spouse? If they get sick, it still affects you, and you can't afford to pay. You see? So come on,
Unless you have
give me a break.
DNR.
Nobody's making decisions here.
all right, moving on to another subject. Up in Boston, this story broke like a year or so ago. Remember the big brothel operations that were going on in Cambridge and Watertown?
Gosh, yes.
Well, originally the three guys pled not guilty, but now they're talking with federal prosecutors about coming up with a plea.
They want a deal.
Okay,
want a
that's right. What
deal.
can you give to us?
Right.
And so the
It's costing you a lot of money to put us in jail, isn't it? We could fix that.
so it's up here in Boston, well, Cambridge and Watertown, and they were also allegedly running one in Virginia.
Yeah.
So that's across state
where the
lines,
big
and now
money
that's
is.
where the big.
So the proof is undisputable, and so now they're like, okay, well, I guess I did do that.
From what I'm hearing is, the big names
Right.
are
They somehow managed to
They've
keep
got-
them under wraps. though.
yes, like politicians and like this. So since Virginia is very close to Washington D.C., there are big names in the little black book, and I guess they're trying to keep that under wraps. And I guess that's what the whole plea deal is going to be, and like that. So
Well, it's going to come out eventually.
you think so?
Sure.
I remember when Heidi Fleiss had her the big book, and Charlie Sheen was the big name.
And no one
And
was
that-
surprised.
Well, not really. They said, "Well, what'd you expect?" That's what they're. So I'd like to see what kind of plea deal they're going to come up with on this one with the feds. Rich Lane has joined us here at the coffee table. How are you, Rich?
I am well. How's everybody doing this morning? Good.
I think we're all doing
Never better.
Okay.
There you go.
Nice to have you along with us today. Did you watch the Celtics last night?
I was watching the Women's College World Series, believe it or not, and
Softball?
and then I saw they were up
scroll?
like 30 points, and I said, this is pretty much a done deal, and it was. I mean, they made a little comeback toward the end of the second quarter. But,
Oh, yeah.
Dallas, but hey,
They won by 20 or so.
They won by
so-
20, so.
So it's good.
Yeah.
So my Celtics in 4 prediction is right now looking
stuff.
great.
Good stuff.
So yeah, real good for them. We're going to take a break here at the Coffee and Program. We're going to be back to talk with Rich what's going on at Post 85. But first, it's time for a look at the forecast, which is being brought to you by Progressive Insurance.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 83 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 58. Saturday's weather mostly sunny with a high of 76. Sunday, partial sunshine and a high of 77. Monday, mostly sunny 76. Tuesday, mostly sunny 77. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 77 again. And on Thursday, mostly sunny and 82 degrees.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we do have sunny skies and 79 degrees. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com.
Are you looking for solutions to meet your business banking needs? At Milford Federal, the longest standing community bank in the area, they offer customized solutions for commercial lending, cash management, online banking, and payment processing services. Their business banking team is committed to the growth and success of your business with local decision making and a relationship based approach. Let Milford Federal be your banking partner. Visit them at milfordfederal.com today. Milford Federal Bank, our community, your bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, and MLS number 465956.
Wow, can you believe Gators Pub is celebrating its 35th year in business? Maybe the key to Gators' success is our super friendly staff. Or maybe the fact that the chefs at Gators are constantly making some of the freshest and most delicious dishes around. If you've never been, come on down and check out our great lunch specials from Monday through Thursday. They also offer complimentary soup during lunch. Watch the Boston Red Sox on one of our many TVs while enjoying classic apps like fresh potato skins or our famous pita chips. Come watch a volleyball game and have a burger or one of our newest cocktail creations. Gators is located on Route 102 in North Smithfield, about 1 mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Come say hello.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA. And coming up this weekend, we're going to answer the following questions. What singer misread the sheet music? Who thought of a song during a bathroom break? And who had the #1 record this week in 1976? Find out. Turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
It is Coffee In on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, and Rich Lane. And this segment of Coffee In is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper, which Dave happens to have in his hands.
Yes, I do, and I have the Cumberland Lincoln edition of the Valley Breeze newspaper here in my hand right now. Big color picture on top with Matt Gaczarski of Rick's Musical Instruments in Cumberland teaching a class of guitar players. And they all have their guitars on their laps, and I'm seeing quite a number of young ladies learning
And
to
why
play.
is that, Dave?
And the story title from Sophia Barr is Taylor Swift Craze Inspires a New Generation of Young Guitar Learners.
Oh, well, that makes perfect sense.
Read all about it in the Breeze. Isabella LaPiore, it says the late firefighter has been honored for Special Olympics work. That's Greg Jones, late Cumberland firefighter, longtime dear friend to the volunteer for Special Olympics in Rhode Island. Read the story there. And over in Lincoln, they're abandoning a road. They're abandoning a road. Why? Because
Why?
people keep dumping off this road. And so what they're doing is they're saying, well, we don't use the road much, and we can't really police it much. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to abandon the road. It's going to be private property. Private property owners can stop you from going on the road. The town, if it's an approved road, you really can't, unless it's under construction or is an immediate emergency hazard, can't stop you from using the road. So that might stop people from dumping on the road. I read all about it. Sophia Barr has a story there. Then in the Blackstone, North Smithfield, and Woonsocket editions of our newspaper, we got a story right here about the Blackstone Millville Regional Class of 2024. They stand triumphant. Corey Plant, Valley Breeze staff writer, has a story there. Nice pictures as well. Over in Woonsocket, Ethan Shorey writes that Woonsocket officials are looking to pick up the pieces after the auditor departs. And they're doing that right now, as you've heard on our newscasts. A little in-depth story there. And then, let's see, Corey Plant from North Smithfield says the North Smithfield Council is approving the hiring of a new human resources director. Read all about it in the Valley Breeze newspapers, plus some wonderful ads from some super local businesses. The Valley Breeze, free where you shop every Thursday.
All right there, Dave. Thank you very much. And just in case you were wondering, and if you happen to be in Chicago on the 4th of July, the city has confirmed no fireworks in Chicago.
Right, because there's so much gunplay. They can't tell what's a gun going off and what's a firework, what's a salute. Yeah, good luck with that one, boys and girls.
The city has
But they're
offered
another city that has all the microphones around the city that are hooked up by the internet.
Yeah.
So they can hear gunshots all over the different areas of the city at a central location and dispatch.
The city of Chicago has offered no explanation.
Oh, come on. I just explained it to you. I just explained
They
it to you.
just said we confirm we're not having any. But they do remind people that I've never been to Chicago, but Navy Pier has twice a week's fireworks throughout the summer, every Wednesday and Saturday. So You get fireworks anyway. Anyway, Rich.
Hi.
Hi there. And how are things at the Post?
Pretty good. I'm three things this morning. I'm sad,
Oh.
And happy?
and I'm happy,
Okay.
and then I'm disturbed about something.
Oh, okay. I think I say indifferent. but,
Disturbed.
No, not indifferent. Just
Okay.
well, not mentally disturbed.
Well, which one do you
well,
want to
of
do?
course, maybe.
Which one do you
well,
want to
let's
do first?
let's do sad
Let's
because
do
I,
sad.
yeah, we
Melissa
gotta
was
do-
kind of edging away from you when you said disturbed.
But the sad part about it is that we lost a member, I'll call him a family member of Post 85 a couple of days ago,
you did.
Al Jenks.
Yeah.
You know, and anybody out there that knew Al, I mean, Al was a fixture down at the American Legion Post 85 for many, many years. He was the president of the Friends of Fairmount, and I'll tell you, I had gotten to know Al over the past 10 years since I've been down there, and you know, anybody's listening out there, Al's going to be sorely missed. I mean, anytime there was something to do for veterans, or you know, the children of medical of military personnel, Al was always there with his organization, and Al would actually give out of his own pocket at times too. So Al, you're going to be missed, and my condolences and the Post 85 condolences go out to a member of Al family.
All right. How about happy now? Rich?
Happy. Oh my God, happy. Let's get into happy. We have no bands this weekend, but tomorrow from 9 to 3, we are going to have a yard sale underneath the pavilion at Post 85. Looks like the weather is going to cooperate with us for everything we're going to do this
Cooperate. It's gonna
weekend.
be exemplary.
So the yard sale now from 9 to 3 underneath the pavilion at Post 85 tomorrow. It's members of Post 85 and members of Friends of Fairmont. In other words, you're going to be associated with the
Right.
post in order to display your items.
Sure.
But the yard sale is open to the public.
Sure.
So if you want to come down and take a look at the things that are going to be on sale, just come on down 870 River Street, down at American Legion Post 85 from 9 to 3 for the yard sale. Now on Sunday, that is going to be a great day. I am so looking forward to it. We are going to do a Korean War dedication ceremony at the Eternal Flame site on Sunday. That's going to start at 1 p.m. and it's going to go till 4 p.m. It's not all, the whole 3 hours ain't going to be covered by dedication, of course. There's going to be some mingling afterwards at the post. So, but the ceremony starts at 1. Senator Murray, sitting to my right here, is going to be in attendance along with some other dignitaries, say a few words. And one thing I found out, and I didn't know this, but I hope they did their due diligence. I think they did. I found out last night that there are 7 Woonsocket residents that are that lost their lives in the Korean War. And we're going to do a little special something tomorrow that I'm got to kind of keep under hat. But it's going to be a very nice ceremony. So, you know, and if you see little sprinkles of rain, don't worry about it. We got big tents going up. We got seating available. So come on out and honor those that did their thing in the Korean War. And, you know, it's just going to be a great afternoon of celebration. Give you a chance to see the Eternal Flame if you've never been up to the site. And, you know, shake hands with some of the people up there that are really dedicated to our military personnel.
All right. Are we moving on to Disturbed?
Yeah, you want to hear Disturbed? Because I think, you know, I really think this is going to give us a little bit of discussion this morning.
All right.
You know, and I don't want to get political, and I do not mean this to be political, okay?
However.
No, and it
Oh,
won't
okay,
be. It won't
okay.
be. But, you know, something, whether you are whether you're Democrat, Republican, whether you're for President Trump, against President Trump, for President Biden, against President Biden, I don't care, okay?
All right.
And I'm going to keep how I feel to myself.
All right.
Now, something happened the other day that I'm totally disturbed about, and I'm going to preface it by saying this. According to the U.S. flag code, flying the American flag upside down is only meant to be done as a signal of dire distress in instances of extreme danger to life or property.
Right.
Now, right after the Trump verdict came down in New York, couple of days later, I'm driving around, and I'm not even going to say the business. I go by this business, and 2 American flags on that property
They're upside down.
are upside down. I go by a couple of residents in the Grafton, Massachusetts area on my way through. I see 2 residential flags with the American flag hanging upside down. That bothers me.
It bothers me too.
I just, and my whole view on it is that, first of all, former President Trump, the fact that they came down with that verdict is not a signal of distress. It's not a signal of extreme danger to life or property. You can be upset about it if you want, and you can voice your opinion. But I want people to think that's the right thing to do. As a military person, here's what I'd like them to know. How do you think that affects the Gold Star families out
Right.
there?
Yeah.
How do you
Right.
think they feel when they see the American flag flying upside down? How do you think the young people that join the military that are currently serving overseas or serving our country here in the United States, how do you think that makes them feel? How do you think that makes me feel as a veteran? How do you think that makes the members of VFWs, American Legion posts, how do you think that makes us feel? Give no consideration. I just don't see the reason to do that, and I know Dave is going to pipe in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's disrespectful, and it's shocking almost, like, to see that as a signal to say that, like, you're for a certain person. It's anti-American to me.
Look, I'm not a big fan of our current president. And the fact that he's feeble, I feel bad about that. I really do, because I really think there's something going on there, okay? But I could say the country's in distress by the way he's acting, and I could fly the American flag upside down. Oh, I think the country's in distress because of the way he acts. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go to the ballot box and let it.
That's right.
I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Dave.
Hey, Dave's got his hand up.
Yes, Dave.
Yes, young man in the blue shirt. Go.
Well, first of all,
Hit your wire again, Dave.
first of all,
There we go.
I understand how it makes you feel, and I don't disagree. Of course, it's none of my business to agree or disagree with how you feel. I either feel the same thing or I don't feel the same thing. To me, I look at it a little bit differently. If it shocks and disturbs me, I would keep it to myself, because people who think along these lines are looking to shock and disturb people. And so, in spite or for spite, I would not tell them that it bothered me. And that's the best thing that I could do there. I wouldn't talk about it in public, because my father explained to me the most hurtful thing you can do to another human being is to ignore them and tell them that they don't matter. And that their opinions don't matter as an extension of that they don't matter. So I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of shocking me or telling them that they did. But the thing that calms my heart is that they're just totally wrong from a legal and protocol point of view. There is more protocols about the care, feeding, and display of the American flag than there are about a lot of other important things. Everyone is rung in between the military and the federal government officials and different states. Everybody's got a rule about how to display the flags here in America. And it started because there was all that disrespect back in the 60s and they were burning flags. That was wrong too. But the deal is this. Only the chief executive can call for flags to be displayed in a certain way. It would be up to the President of the United States to tell you to fly your flag, your American flag, at half-staff, or fly it upside down. And if they don't, then you do not have permission to display that flag in any other manner. So you're showing your ignorance, you're showing an attitude of antisocial behavior. What more do you want to show how stupid you are and how, you're wrong? Yeah, and if you want, and this is a free country, if you want to display your ignorance and how stupid you are and how wrong you are, it's a free country.
You have a
But I
constitutional
don't
right.
encourage it. I don't encourage it by generating controversy. I just, you treat them like the 2-year-old who's acting out. You just ignore them if they're not hurting anybody. All right, so that's the way I look at. Oh, Melissa's smiling. She likes that. Yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm going with this. Now, we have seen on a number of occasions governors of states saying flags should be flied at half staff. According to protocols, they can only say that about the flag of their state. They cannot give people permission to flag run the United States flag at half staff
Or they-
for a statewide mourning.
Or have they got a hold of the president and to get permission?
If they did, fine, then everything's cool. But inherent to their office, they don't have permission. They don't have the authority, is the way I should have said it, to tell people to fly the U.S. flag at half staff. Only their state flag, they in their office permitted to do that. So there may be some understanding between the president and a governor that I'm not privy to, but a governor doesn't have that kind of permission because only the president of the United States has total authority on telling the public how to display the U.S. flag.
Rich, this is what I wish would happen in situations like this, because I saw it happen about 15 or 20 years ago. There was a student at Wheaton College in Norton, and he was upset with the school about something, and he was flying the American flag upside down in his dorm room. Now, what happened is another group of people
Flew it in a dorm room?
in his dorm room,
You mean
out his
displayed
window.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was another group of people that gathered at the Common, which is right next to Wheaton College, that were in favor of the flag or were protesting him or something like that. So, but in situations like this, what I wish the police would do, and I told this to my wife, the police should go to the dorm room every 15 minutes. You're flying your flag upside down. International rules say you're in distress. What's the problem?
Yep.
And then if he doesn't take it down, every 15 minutes you come back and knock on the door. You're still flying it upside down. There must still be a problem.
See him get a night's sleep.
That's right. And the same thing with the business and the other in Grafton or whatever. And the police just keep showing up. What you're doing is you're saying, I'm in distress. Here we are to help. What's the problem? Well, I'm not happy with the Trump situation. Well, okay. And
We
then
can't
leave.
help you with that.
Can't
That's
help
right. And then come back 15 minutes. Oh, there must still be a problem.
And I'm only
And they'll-
surmising.
they'll
I'm only
eventually take
surmising
it
that
down.
that's why people are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
Sure.
saying that's why. I'm just
But they're
surmising.
wrong.
Yeah, signal
They're,
You know.
they're wrong. Don't encourage them by being offended.
But when I'll tell you what, I had all I could do. I mean, the business is the business. I'm not going to go tromping in the business and get
Yeah.
myself arrested, being all mad and everything like that.
Now you're trespassing, yeah.
But you know, in one of the houses I went by in Grafton, the gentleman was in his front yard mowing the lawn, and you don't know how close I came.
To stopping.
And I
speaking?
said, "No, Rich, just
Do you think he
going.
could have heard you over the
keep
line of the
on,
lawnmower?
keeping on,
Keep
Rich,
going,
keep
keep
on,
going.
Well, you're
keeping
right.
on."
You're right.
I don't have the bail money, so.
I'll bail you out.
All right, we're going to take a break here at
Well-
Coffee Ann. Hold that thought, Dave.
Yeah.
And this portion of Coffee Ann has been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
As drivers, we encounter motorcycles on the road every day, and motorcycle safety is a two-way street. So give motorcycles extra space when stopping and starting. Check your mirrors and blind spots. Share the road, but never try and share a lane. Every rider could be a father, a son or a brother, a mother, a daughter or a sister, or the whole world to someone very special. Brought to you by the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Hello, my name is Paul LaValle and I'm from the Woonsocket Council Knights of Columbus. We are sponsoring a scholarship fund raffle tickets that'll benefit the Woonsocket Catholic School Regional School System. There are only 100 tickets being sold. They are $50 each. The first prize is $1,200. The second prize is $500. The third prize is $300. You can contact any Knight of Columbus or myself at 401-651-5533 to purchase tickets. Thank you.
It's Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, and Rich Lane is here as well. And this is how you know we're so close to summertime, when they start closing the beaches because of bacteria.
Because they don't check them when nobody's swimming.
That's right. When they're there, then we go check them out.
Right.
So this is Connecticut Point Beach. That's in Warwick. It is closed. High levels of bacteria.
Ew.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
It's just the start.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And then
Well,
it's-
listen, when we were growing up, I mean, there would be various bodies of water that you shouldn't have swum in, and you would check it. Now, as kids, sometimes you don't check it really good if you want to go swimming. But having the government check them, reluctantly, I have to agree, is probably a good idea. But like anything government does, it can go too far and stuff like that. But in essence, I think it's a good idea, because I recall my sister getting ear infections because of the swimming hole in town. When the water went down in the summertime, because they always did, because of evaporation, water use, and stuff like that. And we had a dry summer, and the water went down, and obviously, but the families took care of this matter. Okay, tell everybody it's in the neighborhood, don't go there. We got an infection, and the doctor says it's from swimming in
water.
Yeah. So we handle it differently, but it's probably good that they do this. But then it's like all the time.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
It is.
And now, like, nobody's going to get sick, but we have these standards, and like that.
Well, you got the 4th of July coming up, so just wait another 2 weeks until they say red tide and the price of shellfish go up and all that. So,
Jaws.
come
You
on.
can't close the beach on the 4th of July.
Here we go.
Jaws.
I know.
They'll swim out. They'll swim in other places, It was last summer. I was on my way. My family and I down. I think it was last summer. We were going to Horseneck Beach, which is in Westport, Mass.
Oh, I
And
remember this.
On our way there, we're already in the car driving there. The state decided to close the beach because there was a shark sighting at the beach, and I didn't know this. And we got all the way down there, and they said, "Well, you can come on in, but you can't go in the water because of the sharks." I said, "Well, we drove all the way there. The good part about it, we didn't have to pay anything. It was free. Come on in and just hang out on the sand. Sure thing." And we did go down. My daughter and I, we did go down. We went up to our ankles, and we were still told to get out of the water.
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Okay, if you're telling me to get out of the water, that guy over there, he was about 500 feet away, up to his knees.
Oh.
He's got to come out too." "Oh yeah. We're getting to him."
Yeah.
And they
blow
did.
the whistle at you.
There was no blowing the whistle, but there was a Massachusetts State Police helicopter that kept flying back and forth and flying back and forth, and 2 state troopers on horses to make sure nobody went in the water.
Yeah.
But we saw a lot of seals, which is great. And
Right,
that's
and-
what they were worried about.
that's right.
The seals are right there. The shark
right.
may be close by.
Yeah.
So
Like they told me, if you're in the water at the ocean and you see a bunch of little fish, the big fish are right behind
They're right
them.
there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, so we may have a world record, or at least a record in Texas. They had some big storms last week, and a chunk of ice the size of a pineapple has been found
Yeah.
in Amarillo.
They said it was a
Texas.
hailstone.
It was hailstones.
It hasn't quite been confirmed
The
because
size of a pineapple.
They said it- yeah.
That's odd.
It's 7 inches long. They said,
my
you know,
God.
doesn't say
Yeah.
doesn't have the
Wow.
circumference on it, but or the weight. But they said this could be a new state
when they
record.
when they get that big, they're irregular in shape,
Yeah. So the Texas State Climate Extremes Committee, there is such a thing. They're meeting. They have to confirm the size.
Right.
So they get some good sized hail.
And there's something like the National
Down
Weather
there.
Service. The National Weather Service.
So they put it in the freezer and like.
The National Weather Service. You can have a tornado, and I've seen this happen in North Smithfield and Burrillville. You can have a tornado come through, shear off tops of trees for half a mile.
Yeah.
And it'll be 3 or 4 days before the National Weather Service confirms there was a tornado, because
That's right, it takes a while.
It's kind of like getting canonized in the Roman Catholic Church. It takes a while.
It was found by a storm chaser in a farming area.
Yeah.
About an hour south of Amarillo.
So there is an actual government agency that people get paid to measure.
This is a state agency.
hailstones.
This is a state agency.
Yeah.
State, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
That's a job I want.
Well, in addition to
if
what
you
the
see an opening, Melissa, for a job like, just let me
Right.
know. I'll be more than
of measuring hailstones.
Yeah,
in Rhode
absolutely.
Island.
I can measure
You're just
hailstones.
walking around, you find one. You're in Texas, it's hot.
We only
Like,
get
how
golf
do
ball
you-
size.
I guess you
quickly
take a picture.
measure it because it's melting.
And
Yeah.
well,
Right.
get it into a cooler. Pack it
Put
with
it
some
in a
dry ice
cooler.
so it doesn't melt. Yes. Well, in case you didn't know, a new study has linked common sugar substitutes to an increased risk of cardiovascular issues such as heart attack and stroke. No kidding.
Cyclamates will
Yeah.
kill you.
Yeah.
They've been telling you that for years.
Yeah.
And so now there's a
Saccharin.
that's right.
Right.
That'll give you cancer.
You know,
Yes.
but there's got to be something about
It's
my.
another boogeyman story.
Yeah.
There's got to be something about my makeup that I don't know.
You're wearing makeup?
What, no, about my makeup.
Very well
physical
done.
makeup.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't know what's going on. But you talk about sugar and saccharin and stuff like that, and all this stuff's not good for you. I enjoy Sambuca, and that's loaded with sugar.
Is it?
Is it? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
very
it
sugary.
Yes, it is. And I go to my doctor's appointments, and everything's fine. Blood work's good. Everything's good. And just keep doing what you're doing. And I come through the door of my house, and my wife just looks at me and goes, I just can't believe this.
Good.
Well, that's just pretty much. I got to follow
Clean
doctor's
living.
orders, honey.
Clean living.
It's what
Clean
else do
living.
you do?
That's-
Drinking sambucas is not like
It's a cordial.
It's
I
not
mean,
like
it's not
shooting
like-
yourself
yeah.
with a bullet. Where just one will kill
One will
you,
do it.
right? It's something that's an accumulative process, and if you're doing other things that assist, and that one little thing, it all levels off. And okay, so maybe by the time you're 96, it'll show up. But you can, people have to understand it's the entirety of how you live your life.
That's correct. That's correct. And to me, you got to keep active.
Yeah,
You've got to
that's
keep
very
going.
important.
I can't tell you how many corrections officers I work with. They retire, they go plunk their butt down somewhere in Florida
bad
or South
news.
Carolina or North Carolina, and then they're gone like
A year later.
2 years later.
Right.
So hey, all I know is the state of Massachusetts can keep sending me my pension checks. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. But what you do for a long period of time really does affect your health later on. And if you make a big change, I was telling somebody just the other day, so when I was younger, we worked in the mill. We did a lot of physical work. We implanted satellite dishes. We just did a lot. We were very, very active with all the young guy stuff. And it helps develop your spine, riding the bike for so many years. All of those things contributed to putting together a body that was in good shape, which over time you could mess up. But you have good bones or they're good muscular structure because you did all that stuff when you were younger. Just don't mess it up later and you're all set. And even today, I find that I can lift and do things physically that I was taught how to lift when I was younger and how not to do this, that, and the other thing. So I feel that the totality of life is what's going on.
Dave, that is so good for me to hear that you can still do all that stuff. Because when I leave the station, I got to drive to Grafton. I got to dig a ditch. Believe it or not, that's
Yeah.
exact. So if you feel like you need some exercise, you can.
Now,
just
is it a wide ditch or a narrow ditch?
It's a wide ditch.
A wide ditch?
Yes, and I'll be.
Well,
like I said, if you feel like you
if
would
you'll
need some
take my
exercises.
advice, sure. Well, I got to get ready for the broadcast this afternoon.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's always an excuse.
Well, I mean, it's a promise I made. If I don't show up, everybody doesn't get a TV show.
So speaking of makeup, Rich.
Yes, makeup. Okay.
A L'Oreal executive is the first woman to be worth more than $100 billion.
Whoa.
With a B. Forbes reports Francois Betancourt Myers saw her net worth jump as L'Oreal stock hit record highs. She owns the beauty giant along with her husband and her 2 sons. There's a lot of money in makeup, I guess.
Wow.
If you
Yeah.
can, if you're at the top of the food chain, of course. So, all right. So well, good for her, right? All right. Let's see how much time we get. Not too much time. A former NBA player is going to the Olympics this coming summer, but he's not going to play basketball. is on Team USA's beach volleyball team for the men. He played for 4 teams in the NBA, but really likes volleyball. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, you can take a look at other athletes that do other things.
Not
like,
so
I
much
mean,
running.
Yeah, and we're just local. Zdeno Chara, right? Look at Big Z from the Bruins,
Always
right?
runs the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, he not only ran the
Great
Boston
time.
Marathon. Yeah, not only ran the Boston Marathon, but then a week later ran the London
Oh, did
Marathon.
he? Wow. Jeez.
I mean,
he's a fantastic.
yeah,
shape.
and he does it like in what under
Oh, pretty
3:10.
quick.
I think under 3:10.
Well, he's got that long stride. He's 6'9".
Yeah, my God,
And speaking of summertime, we've had our first operator of a boat who's been charged with being under the influence.
Right.
Yeah.
Down in Martha's Vineyard, he ran his vessel aground. They said, no, it was a navigational error. No, you didn't pass the field sobriety test. Nice try.
No, you're drunk and you're driving
That's
a
right.
boat.
Right. Don't drive anything after drinking. Not your car, not a boat, not a bicycle,
Plane, a
and
helicopter.
not a plane.
All
Just
those
nothing.
things.
Just
Yeah, planes and helicopters should definitely be out of the
yeah,
way.
not such a good idea.
All right, that wraps it up for the show for today. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the Woonsocket High School graduation this afternoon at 4. We hope it's going to be great weather for it. So
Yeah,
so
congratulations,
congrats to the
graduates.
That's right. Congrats to the students. Dave, thanks for coming in today.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right, and Melissa, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Have a great weekend, everyone.
All right, and Rich, same to you. Thanks for coming
Yep,
in.
Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m., Korean War dedication down at Post 85.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great day, great weekend. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do your remembers at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. A bill to help Rhode Island's wineries is headed to Governor Dan McKee. The General Assembly has passed legislation to allow the sale of a limited amount of wine per customer per day.